We talked a little bit ago about when some of the boys found out about the draft and they would be moving shows. And you said that, he wanted to play it, he being Vince, pronouns pal, wanted to play it close to the vest and really wanted to keep it a secret. And 2 years prior to this, when you guys first did this shakeup or draft, you told the wrestlers to go to the website to find out if they'd been shipped to a new brand. And here they don't find out until they show up. And a lot of the Raw wrestlers are communicating to the SmackDown wrestlers, oh, hey, by the way, this just happened. And apparently, I guess we sometimes as fans don't think about this, but someone told Wade Keller, guys can't even tell their wives when they're going to be home next, said one wrestler. We're right off of WrestleMania. You guys usually do a big European tour, so that's obviously going to be affected. You've got your travel booked, but your travel is booked based on whether you're on Raw or SmackDown. So all of a sudden, if that changes, your entire, work life could change on a whim. How would you, categorize or classify or describe the locker room and the draft? This feels like the most unpopular thing that happens in the locker room. Do I have that wrong?
Well, look, I think that a lot of it becomes paranoia. And here's why I say that. Guys can't tell their wives when they're going to be home. Well, you're on the same touring schedule. So if you're going to SmackDown, it means you're coming home on Wednesday, but you're not leaving until Friday. If you're on Raw, then you're coming home on Tuesday and you're leaving on Thursday. Same time at home, same schedule, same everything. International tours, they toured simultaneous. So how does that affect anything other than what town you're going to go to and perform in that night? I think that the paranoia and the angst came from just not knowing. And not knowing where I'm going to be, what buddies I'm going to be with, what I'm going to be doing and things of that nature. And how's it going to affect my push, if you will. So that's where the angst came from. And that's where a lot of the confusion and feeling came from, an emotion. But for the most part, nothing, it was not changing anything in their personal lives per se. Some it was better. Some was like, okay, hey, I would rather be home on Tuesday. And some would say, well, fuck, I'm glad I don't have to leave until Friday.
Yeah, man.
So
I get it.
That's
the train goes on, and it can be a little frustrating, especially if you're in a hurry or running late, to find yourself at a railway crossing waiting for a train. And if the signals are going and the train's not even there yet, you can feel a bit tempted to try and sneak across the tracks. Well, don't ever. Trains are often going faster than you expect them to be, and they can't stop. Even if the engineer hits the brakes right away, it can take a train over a mile to stop. By that time, what used to be your car could just be a crushed hunk of metal, and what used to be you, well, better not to think about that. The point is, you can't know how quickly the train will arrive. The train can't stop even if it sees you, and the result is disaster. If the signals are on, the train is on its way, and you just need to remember one thing: stop. Trains can't. Ron Simmons jumped off the train, and he was released from the WWE around this time. It ended up resulting in the biggest push of Bradshaw's career after that happened.
Start over.
No, we're good. What are your memories of Ron's release and how it was taken backstage?
God, Ron, was probably one of the most beloved individuals in the wrestling business. Legit badass, one of the greatest football players ever to put on a pair of pads. Great wrestler, great guy, one of my favorite human beings in the world. And a good friend. Unfortunately, it was time to break up the APA. And I don't think that Ron was in a place where he was going to really excel as a single. And I don't know that Ron wanted to. So it was unfortunately time to part ways with Ron. And it actually gave JBL the biggest opportunity of his life to go out and be a single and become JBL versus, John Layfield or John Bradshaw from the APA. It sucked. It was a hard thing to do. It was really, really tough. I remember the night it happened, and there were a lot of tears, but Ron also understood. I mean, Ron Simmons is a man's man, and he took it like a man and hugged everybody, thanked everybody, and went on. But it's still sad because you hate to see somebody like that go when you don't have anything. And he knew. I mean, he knew.
Was he not interested or not the right fit for like an agent type role? Because we see a lot of guys transition from out of the ring into a backstage role, but Ron never did that.
Ron wasn't interested in doing that. And I also think that Ron was looking for a break from the road too. I think he was looking for not to be on the road with that kind of schedule, grueling schedule anymore. And I think he was ready for a change.
Well, somebody else who's ready for a change is Goldberg. He did a radio show in Edmonton around this time, and he referred to the company as soap opera and said working there was ridiculous and it felt like being in a circus. And he said he only had interest in wrestling in Japan. When you guys see that after bringing him in for a big contract and, trying to work with him and, didn't end the best way, what's the feedback when you read that he says it was a soap opera and ridiculous and felt like being in a circus and he'd rather just work Japan?
Well, first of all, it is a soap opera, and that part he's correct. But Bill was never happy when he was there the first run at all. And so it was kind of expected. I think Bill was saying things like that before he came to work for the company, and he was saying things like that while he was in the company. So it wasn't a big shock. It was just, oh, there's Goldberg again.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson here to tell you a little more about what adfreeshows.com is all about. Get early ad-free access to more than a dozen of your favorite wrestling podcasts every single week, starting at just $9. That's less than 20 cents an episode each month. And yes, you can listen to them all directly through Apple Podcasts or your regular podcast apps. How easy is that? Ad-free shows also has thousands of hours worth of bonus content and docuseries like Title Chase, Eric Fires Back, Conversations with Conrad, and The Insiders. Plus new series like The Book with David Crockett, Monday Mailbags with Mike Chioda and Nick Patrick, and a whole lot more. And you want to talk about early? You can't get any earlier than listening to the shows live. You can be a part of the live studio audience as we record the podcast. Plus, ride shotgun alongside your favorite childhood heroes for live watch-alongs, Q&As, and other interactive experiences every single month. Come on now, see for yourself what thousands of other wrestling fans from around the world have discovered, that adfreeshows.com is the best value in wrestling. Check it out today, and hey, when you do, the first week is completely free. adfreeshows.com.